Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Radiant Central, and I'm your host Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So today I want to talk about Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. Someone had sent me an email recently asking me what my opinion is, whether someone who wants to reverse the symptoms of Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, whether they should be going on to a whole food diet or should they be doing a raw food diet, what's going to give them the best results and really get them to where they want to be and help them get healthy and balanced again. And this is a great question. I would have to say, based on my own experience with myself being able to reverse all the symptoms of Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome and pretty much getting rid of it, and also just coaching many women with their diet and with changing certain parts of their lifestyle as well, in order to also reverse the symptoms and get their fertility back and get them healthy and balanced again. The one thing that I have to say, and one thing that I strongly stand behind, is that in order to really reverse it and to get healthy and to get things balanced and just to be healthy and have the most optimal health, what's most important is actually to be eliminating all the junk food and the processed food from your diet. And it's not so much what diet you're doing to do that. For some people it is the raw food diet. For some people it's a whole food diet. Other women I've known who've been able to reverse the symptoms of Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome with a paleo diet or with a macrobiotic diet or all sorts of different diets, even something like like a high protein diet or even a low fat diet. All these things, it's not so much what you're eating as to what you're taking out of your diet. That's what's most important. And what that means is it's about getting rid of the refined food, the junk food, the processed food, all of that. It's about eliminating anything that is not natural, that you want to stick to eating foods that your body is pretty much made to be eating, right? And not eating high fructose corn syrup, not eating hydrogenated oils, not eating just processed food, artificial ingredients, additives, preservatives, all that stuff. You want to eliminate that stuff from your diet. And for some people, I know for myself, I went on to a raw food diet at a time in my life where I was desperate to get healthy. I was so desperate to get healthy, and I was willing to do anything. And the raw food diet at that time in my life, it resonated with me so much, and I loved it. It's within the first 2 weeks of experimenting with it, I wanted to stick on it forever, and I ended up staying on it for almost 4 years. And during that time, I loved the diet, I loved the food, I enjoyed every moment of it, and it was something that was in alignment with my lifestyle, so it was easy for me to stick on it. And it was something I enjoyed doing, that it brought out the best in me, and I was able, over time, to be able to reverse the Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, and years later, I've had a baby, and I've had no symptoms of Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome since. And after being on a raw food diet for 4 years, I went on to a whole food diet, and I incorporated animal foods back into my diet, and cooked foods and all that, and none of the symptoms came back, nothing, and I've been healthy and fine ever since. And so, for me, it's been a good experience to see that, again, it's not so much about what kind of diet you're following as to what you're taking out and what you don't go back to. And so one thing that I recommend to anyone that is trying to reverse the symptoms of Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome and trying to get healthy again is do something that you enjoy, do something that inspires you, and do something that will motivate you, not only today, but tomorrow. And so what I would recommend, if someone's kind of thinking, okay, should I do a raw food diet or should I do a whole food diet? My suggestion is to keep a whole food diet as your foundation. That no matter what diet you try out, and today it might be the raw food diet, tomorrow it might be a paleo diet, and next week it might be a macrobiotic diet, that no matter what, you always go back to eating a whole food diet. That no matter what, you never go back to eating a junk food diet. That to me is what's going to keep you going, and that's what's going to keep you on that road of healing and getting your body healthy again. Because one thing about reversing any kind of serious health condition is that it's not overnight, and it's not going to take a week, and it's not going to take a month. It could take years. I know for myself, I was diagnosed with Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome over 10 years ago in my mid-20s. And it took many years to reverse it. It was only until, I would say I was in my sort of early 30s that I was finally starting to see results with the hormone levels going back into balance, getting rid of the acne, and regaining my period, and eventually later on regaining my fertility. But it wasn't an overnight thing. It was something that took time, and I was even eventually being able to see that my ovaries, which used to be covered in cysts, no longer have cysts anymore. And that's major stuff, but it was not something that took a few months or even a year to do. It was something that took a few years. And the main thing is that if it's going to take that long, you've got to be doing something that you can do consistently. And so the one thing I recommend is make your foundation a whole food diet. And if you want to try out doing a raw food diet for a few weeks or even a few months or even a few days or a weekend, that's fine. Great, do it. But always go back to doing a whole food diet when you get off. Don't go back to eating junk food. Don't go back to eating processed food. I know I can share too that I've worked with many, many women who've had polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I coach them with their diet and their lifestyle and working to make adjustments with what they're doing. And the one thing that I've seen over and over again, and just the feedback that I get from clients that I've had, is that they've been able to get their period back, get their fertility back, change a lot of the symptoms or reverse some of the symptoms they were having from the polycystic ovarian syndrome, like getting rid of acne or decreasing or diminishing hair growth on their face and body, things like that. And they've been able to do it without going to an extreme. Me, I went to the extreme for many years, being on a raw food diet, right? And I was very, very strict with myself, but I enjoyed it and I was able to stick on it, and that's what I did at that time in my life. But I've seen with many women that haven't gone to the absolute extreme, but I would say majority of the time they stuck to a super healthy diet, but here and there they might have a piece of chocolate or they might have a treat once in a while, and they were still able to get themselves healthy again. That a lot of times it's not so much about going so much to the extreme, that you can still get the results by a majority of the time eating a healthy diet and having a healthy lifestyle. And I guess lastly, that's something too I want to stress, is that it's not only about the diet, it's also about your lifestyle. And perhaps in some ways, your lifestyle can have an even bigger impact on your health than even your diet, depending what your lifestyle is like. If I know for myself, the biggest thing that was holding me back from optimal health was I used to be a smoker, and for so many years I was trying to quit smoking, and I get on these healthy diets and all that, but I'd only be able to go so far because I was a smoker. It was only until I was on a super healthy diet and got rid of the smoking did I see my health just skyrocket to a much higher level. So if someone is smoking, if someone is drinking, if someone is doing recreational drugs, if someone is stressed out all the time, if someone's not getting enough sleep, if someone lives in a polluted environment, if someone is miserable and depressed, or just having emotional issues all the time, then those things are going to deplete you. That no matter how great your diet is going to be, it's never going to be enough. That you have to work on both. It's not only about the diet, but it's also about your lifestyle, and making both of them balanced. It's very, very, very important. It's about being healthy, balanced, happy, and relaxed. So those two are definitely things to take into consideration. And one thing I suggest doing too is looking over your lifestyle and looking and thinking about what are the things that sort of are in your way of reaching your highest health. What are the big things right now that you should be working on? And start with that. Start with the top two things that are really in your way. Work on that, and then work on the next few things. It's about making consistent efforts, and sometimes it's one thing at a time as well. And in the end, it's also about enjoying every step of the way, enjoying the process, never being stressed out about the process. Sometimes people think, okay, I need to do this extreme lifestyle, and they hate it and they're miserable. That's not going to help them get healthy if they're miserable and stressed out the whole time. So it's about doing something that you feel is in alignment with who you are, your personality, your lifestyle, your social life, your happiness, everything. It's about everything being in alignment and being true to yourself as well. So that's what I want to share, and something too to also remember that every person is different. Everyone's journey is different, and it's about being true to yourself as well. All right. So, and I just want to mention too that if you do want to try out the raw food diet, every month I host a 7-day raw food challenge, and the next one starts this coming Monday, October 13th. And I've also started a whole food challenge, which is 7 days of being on a whole food diet, which includes cooked and raw foods and no processed food, and just eating whole, natural, fresh, wonderful food. And the next 7-day whole food challenge starts October 20th. Both of these programs you can sign up or get more information about at my website at radiancecentral.com and click on products and you'll see it there. And that's it. And I'm wishing you guys a super fabulous day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.